Is
Madam
it
Chair.
about the letter?
Yes,
It has been
Madam-
ruled
about
upon
the
Vice
motion.
Chair Dumogan.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
We have a lot of things to discuss for today's hearing.
Well,
with
have
your
already
indulgence.
You have already ruled, but I was about to suggest, because the most important is the tenor of our letter. This, we can say, this.
We are not issuing a letter because
this-
nobody moved
Yeah,
to issue a letter.
because there is some, despite your letter, we are inviting you to the next hearing. We can see it that way.
Nevertheless, the lawyers and the parties are always invited, notwithstanding the letters of non-appearance, notwithstanding the letter that they are not recognizing our jurisdiction.
My worry, Madam Chair, is if we do not also respond to that, they are directly attacking us. It's not, to me, it's not good. Why can we not just say, despite your accusation, we are respectfully inviting you to the next proceedings.
Madam Chair.
Vice Chair Dumogan, we take note of your manifestation, but this issue has been ruled upon. Now we proceed to the next matter for our today's
Madam
hearing.
Chair.
That
Madam
is
Chair.
the action. Is it about the letter?
Madam Chair, since
Honorable Marcoleta, is it about the letter? Because the same has been ruled upon.
ma'am, since the due process has been mentioned several times in today's hearing, I have something to say about it.
Is it
Due
about the
process.
letter?
Somehow somewhat related to the letter, but not confined to the letter. Let's not be confined to the. We're talking about due process, Madam.
All right, you're
If I may be
recognized.
allowed, just
For
2
the
points.
guidance of the members, our colleague is a non-member. Nonetheless, he is allowed to manifest. You may proceed.
Thank you, Madam. I respectfully rise for a brief manifestation for the record. Madam Chair, during the last hearing, I was advised by the Honorable Chair to peruse the rules because I raised the terminology sufficiency in grounds, which was mentioned, I think, 16 times by the Honorable Chair. And I have gone over the rules very diligently, and the rule provides that the committee shall determine whether the complaint alleges sufficient grounds for impeachment. Nowhere in the rules you can find sufficiency in ground. Ang aking pong opinion, Madam Chair, pag binago po natin o we alter the terminology, it will reap a different meaning or a different consequence. When we say we're just determining alleged sufficient grounds, we are just testing the allegations. Pag sinabi nating sufficiency in grounds, we seem to be weighing the evidence. So I just implore the wisdom of the Madam Chair to stick to the precise wording as stated in the rules. Yun lang, that's my number 1 point, ma'am. And
You have other manifestations?
yes, ma'am.
You may proceed.
Number 2, Madam, I have questions as to how the process of determining alleged sufficient grounds was achieved during the last hearing. How did we arrive at the determination? Because as far as I can recall, the Honorable Rufus Rodriguez suggested that we deliberate on the grounds, ground by ground. Because the complaints are nothing without the valid grounds from which its own merit should be anchored. So I agree with the view of the Honorable Rodriguez that we should have deliberated the 2 complaints ground by ground in order to arrive at a more judicious determination. And ang narinig ko lang po during the last hearing are perfunctory recital of allegations by the endorsers. So it would appear that this was just a peremptory declaration of sufficient grounds and nothing more. Yun lang po. Ang aking pong pakiwari, we should be not abbreviating due process because the ruling on Duterte versus House of Representatives stated that due process and the constitutional limitations should always be present at every stage of the impeachment process. That's all, Madam Chair. Thank
The
you.
committee notes all the manifestation of the Honorable Marcoleta. Now we proceed to our pending motions and or requests before the Justice Committee. The Honorable Joel Chua is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, the committee has received a letter dated March 5, 2026 on even date from Honorable Chel Jokno, where he moved that subpoena duces tecum be issued for the following. Number 1, duly certified copies of all the records of the NBI's investigation into the threats made by Vice President Sara Duterte against President Ferdinand Bongbong Romualdez Marcos Jr., First Lady Luis Lisa Cacho Araneta Marcos, former Speaker of the House Ferdinand Martin Gomez Romualdez Sr., and certified true copies of all documents and photographs gathered in the course of the above-mentioned investigation. And number 2, duly certified true copies of the Statement of Assets and Liabilities and Net Worth of Vice President Sara Zimmerman Duterte for the years 2022 to 2025 inclusive, 2007 to 2013 inclusive, and 2016 to 2022 inclusive. Madam Chair, considering that the requested documents are relevant and material to the impeachment proceeding, I so move that subpoena duces tecum be issued pursuant to the letter dated March 5, 2026. So move, Madam Chair.
There is a motion to issue subpoena duces tecum to the NBI with respect to the records of its investigation into the threats made by Vice President Sara Z. Duterte against President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr., First Lady Marie-Louise Lisa Araneta, and former Speaker Ferdinand Martin Romualdez, as well as the certified copies, true copies of all documents and photographs gathered in the course of the above-mentioned investigation. Similar motion is made with respect to the certified true copies of the Statement of Assets and Liabilities and Net Worth, that is SALN, of Vice President Sara Zimmerman Duterte for the year 2022 to 2025 inclusive, 2007 to 2013 inclusive, and 2016 to 2022 inclusive. The second motion is directed to the Ombudsman. May I hear the confirmation of the Honorable Chua? For the SALN.
Yes, Your Honor.
The second subpoena is directed to the Ombudsman, that is with respect to the SALN of the Vice President. Do I hear a second? The same has been seconded.
Madam
Is
Chair.
there any objection?
Madam Chair,
The Honorable Rodriguez.
we cannot
Are you objecting?
manifestation first before I would make my. We cannot have two motions being proposed at the same time. Practically, there should be two motions. The first motion are the NBI findings. The second is the SALN. We should go one by one, Madam Chair, because I am going to agree to vote yes to the first one. The second one, it is a fishing expedition. It is not. There are no ultimate facts on the SALN of the Vice President. So I will vote no. I will object to the second one. The first one goes, Madam Chair.
May
So
we
should
hear
divide-
from the...
We should have two motions instead of only one. Two subject matters. Under our rules, in the rules of court, motions should only be on one subject matter.
May we hear from our proponent? The Honorable Rodriguez is suggesting that there should be one motion per subpoena.
Yes, I move that we we vote
Would you like
on,
to amend your
yes,
motion?
I will amend my motion with respect to the, I move that we issue subpoena duces tecum to be issued to the, issued for the duly certified copies of all the records of the NBI's investigation into the threat made, issued for the duly certified copies of all the records of the NBI's investigation into the threat made by the Vice President SARA Duterte against President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos, and certified true copies of all documents and photographs gathered in the course of the above-mentioned investigation. And so move, Madam Chair.
There is a motion to issue a subpoena to the National Bureau of Investigation with respect to the records of investigation of threats made by the Vice President to the President, to First Lady, and to the former Speaker. Do I hear a second? The same has been seconded. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved. The committee secretary is directed to issue the necessary subpoena. The Honorable Chua.
Madam Chair, with respect to the second subpoena, I move that we issue subpoena duces tecum to the Office of the Ombudsman for the issuance of the duly certified true copies of the Statement of Assets and Liabilities and Net Worths of the Vice President Sara Zimmerman Duterte for the years 2022 to 2025 inclusive, 2007 to 2013 inclusive, and 2016 to 2022 inclusive. So move, Madam Chair.
There is a motion for issuance of subpoena to the Ombudsman with respect to the salin of the Vice President from 2022 to 2025, 2007 to 2013, 2016 to 2022. The same has been seconded. Is there any objection?
Madam Chair.
Is that an objection,
I object.
Honorable Rodriguez?
I object. This is now a clear fishing expedition against the Vice President. Thank you.
Considering that the motion has been objected to, we shall proceed to divide the House. Justice members, please be ready to vote. Those who are in favor of the motion for issuance of subpoena to the Ombudsman for the production of salins from 2022 to 2025, 2007 to 2013, and 2016 to 2022. Please raise your right hand. You may now put down your hands. Those who are not in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. You may put down your hand, Honorable Rodriguez. Those who abstain, please raise your right hand. That concludes the voting. Secretariat, the result, please. With 34 votes in the affirmative, 1 vote in the negative, and 0 abstention, the motion is granted. The committee is directed to issue subpoena duces tecum to the Ombudsman for the production of the salin of the Vice President corresponding to the period of 2022 to 2025, 2007 to 2013, and 2016 to 2022. So ordered. The committee is likewise in receipt of the manifestation from the Honorable Congresswoman Laila De Lima. May we hear from the Honorable De Lima.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This representation confirms that as an ex officio member of the Committee on Justice and as an endorser of the Sabalia et al. Complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte, I filed yesterday, March 24, with the Committee on Justice and with a copy furnished to respondent by the committee secretary, a request for the issuance of subpoena duces tecum and ad testificandum for the following 5 individuals, 5 resource persons and/or witnesses. 1, Attorney Gloria A. Camora of the Intelligence and Confidential Funds Audit Office of the Commission on Audit to produce, identify, and authenticate official COA audit records, including liquidation reports, disbursement vouchers, certifications, and related submissions of the Office of the Vice President and the Department of Education pertaining to the disposition of the confidential funds for the years 2022 and 2023. In my letter, Madam Chair, there's a long list actually of those copies, of those documents, the original copies of which we are seeking to be produced via subpoena from Attorney Gloria Camora of the Intelligence and Confidential Funds Audit Office of the Commission on Audit. I so move, Madam Chair, to issue subpoena juces tecum and ad testificandum to the named individual or named employee or official of the Commission on Audit.
There is a motion for the issuance of subpoena to Attorney Gloria A. Camora. You mentioned the Honorable De Lima, officials from COA. Other than
Attorney Gloria Camora.
Other than Attorney Camora, are there any other officials you would
Just
like to be
Attorney
subpoenaed?
Gloria Camora for the moment. Attorney Gloria Camora of the Intelligence and Confidential Funds Audit Office of the Commission on Audit, because she's the custodian of these COA records and documents, including liquidation reports, disbursement vouchers, certifications, and related submissions of the Office of the Vice President and DepEd pertaining to confidential funds.
There is a motion for issuance of subpoena duces tecum and ad testificandum to Attorney Gloria A. Camora with respect as well to the documents pertaining to the confidential funds during the alleged period.
Yes, Madam Chair, as I said, it's a long list actually. There are the checks, the disbursement vouchers as listed, proof of submissions, liquidation reports, certifications, accomplishment reports, certifications of various dates, etc. It's a long list as listed in the letter of this representation, the letter request of this representation.
We are directing the committee secretary to provide copy of the manifestation or the request to the justice members. And the same is also adopted in support of the motion raised by the Honorable De Lima.
Madam Chair, discussion. I'd like to have a clarification.
Just for the record, the motion of the Honorable De Lima has been seconded by the Honorable
Yes,
Zamora.
now
Honorable
discussion.
Rodriguez.
I would like to clarify. Clarification from the proponent, from the movant. Is this the confidential funds of 2022 and then 2023 of the Office of the Vice President and not the Office of the Secretary of the Department of Education? May we know? May we clarify?
There are documents pertaining to the confidential funds of the Office of the Vice President, and there are also documents pertaining to the confidential funds for the Office of the DepEd, Department of Education.
Madam
Because
Chair.
Those are grounds number 1 and 2 of the affidavit, of the complaint, the Sabalia et al. Complaint.
Madam Chair, when our distinguished Congresswoman De Lima, she mentioned of 22 and 23 years. In your first
23.
motion, when you stated the motion, 22, 23. So that's why I'm getting clarification. Are you now including the DepEd confidential funds?
There are
Because your
also
motion is 22 and 23.
22, 2023,
Because the COA has not been able to have a final notice of disallowance on the DepEd confidential funds.
Again, may I?
Yeah, because when I heard you, it was 2022, 2023. That is pertaining to the Office of the Vice President. But then now you're saying, in my clarification, that you are also moving for her to be able to give documents regarding the confidential funds of the Office of the Department of Education where she was secretary. Let us be clarified on that. Are
Yes,
you
yes,
also
Madam
including?
Chair. With respect to the DepEd, these are also, again, the list is here. With respect to DepEd, there will be accomplishment report dated September 30, 2023, for the period July 12 to September 30, 2023. So there's a covered period, actually, 2022, 2023, and also it's 2023, and the certification issued January 1, 2024. Certification dated December 30, 2023. So covering also the Department of Education.
I will therefore object, Madam Chair, because it is this humble representation's position that under the Duterte versus House of Representatives ruling, only actions pertaining to the impeachable office of the impeachable official can only be the subject matter here. Objection, Mr. Chair, Madam Chair.
The Honorable Rodriguez is consistent
May I
in his
respond to
position
that
since our
objection?
determination of substance. The Honorable
Yes.
Dilima.
Well, that matter was settled already during the proceedings for the determination in substance and also for the proceedings for the determination of whether there are sufficient grounds for impeachment. At any rate, the Honorable Rufus Rodriguez made mention about the ruling of the Supreme Court in the SARA Duterte versus House of Representatives. And it says there, during the incumbency. Yes, it says there, during the incumbency of the impeachable official. Here, the Vice President. Now, it doesn't say in relation only to her office as Vice President. Because, you know, she was occupying the DepEd Secretary portfolio in her concurrent capacity as Vice President. Now, you don't distinguish the actions made, especially the anomalous actions, the impeachable offenses made because it's with the department, it pertains to the Department of Education. Just to explain it further, Madam Chair, what if the Vice President kills someone? It doesn't say it's in relation to or as Vice President and as DepEd Secretary, but that crime happens during her incumbency as Vice President. She may have two hands, as OVP, as VP, and as DepEd, but she has only one brain. She has one persona. She is the same person. Again, the Supreme Court says, during the incumbency of the impeachable official, but not in relation to. There's a big difference between that, the use of those phrases, during her incumbency and also in relation to her functions or duties as Vice President. So that is my counter argument
With all due
to the
respect to
position
the
made.
Honorable Dilima and the Honorable Rodriguez, I believe that this issue has been deliberated upon amply during our determination of sufficiency in substance and even in the sufficiency in ground. So with the indulgence of all the members, let us proceed to vote on the motion for issuance of subpoena duces tecum and subpoena attestificandum with respect to Attorney Gloria A. Camora and all the documents pertaining to the confidential fund in 2022 and 2023, both of the Department of Education and the Office of the Vice President. The same has been seconded. The motion was also objected to. Let us now proceed to vote. Members, please be ready to vote. Those who are in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. You may put down your hands. Those who are not in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. You may put down your hand, Honorable Rodriguez. Those who abstain, please raise your right hand. That concludes the voting. Committee Secretariat, result please. With 29 votes in the affirmative, 1 vote in the negative, and 0 abstention, the motion is granted. The committee is directed to issue the necessary subpoena, duces tecum, and subpoena ad testificandum to Attorney Gloria A. Camora, and with respect as well to the production of pertinent documents on confidential fund of both the DepEd and the Office of the Vice President in 2022 and 2023. So ruled. Honorable De Lima.
My second motion is to issue subpoena duces tecum and ad testificandum to Mr. Ramil Lagunoy Madriaga to produce, identify, and authenticate his affidavit dated November 29, 2025, which is Annex A of the complaint in the Sabalia et al. Complaint, and any other documentary or object evidence in his possession, and to testify thereon. This is with respect to receipt on the receipt, handling, and distribution of the confidential funds. It's very clearly alleged in the complaint of the Sabalia et al.
There is a motion raised by the Honorable De Lima to issue subpoena duces tecum and subpoena ad testificandum to Ramil Lagunoy Madriaga, and for the production of affidavit dated November 29, 2025, as well as any other evidence in his possession. The same has been seconded by Vice Chair Dumogan. Is there any objection?
Madam Chair, objection because again, there is a statement here in the third column that it's also his testimony on the DepEd's confidential funds where we have no jurisdiction. Objection, Madam Chair.
Considering that the motion has been objected to, we shall now proceed to vote. Committee on Justice members, please be ready to vote. This is on the motion for the issuance of subpoena duces tecum and subpoena ad testificandum to Ramil Madriaga, as well as for the production of his affidavit and any other evidence in his possession. Those who are in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. You may put down your hands. Those who are not in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Thank you, Honorable Rodriguez. Those who abstain, please raise your right hand. That concludes the voting. Committee Secretariat, result please. With 29 votes in the affirmative, 1 vote in the negative, and 0 abstention, the motion is hereby granted. The Committee on Justice is directed to issue the necessary subpoena duces tecum and subpoena ad testificandum to Ramil Madriaga and for the production of his affidavit dated November 29, 2025 and any other evidence in his possession. So ruled. Honorable De Lima.
My third motion is for the issuance as well of subpoena duces tecum and ad testificandum to Attorney Cynthia Viñas Pantonal, the notary public who notarized the affidavit of Mr. Madriaga, to identify and authenticate the due execution and notarization of Mr. Madriaga's affidavit. I so
Second,
move.
Madam Chair.
There is a motion to issue subpoena duces tecum and subpoena ad testificandum to Attorney Cynthia Viñas Pantonal, as well as for the production of the original copy of the affidavit of Mr. Madriaga dated November 29, 2025. Do I hear a second?
Second,
The same
Madam
has been
Chair.
seconded. Is there any objection?
Madam Chair, objection.
The same objection is
consistent.
registered by the Honorable Rodriguez. Let us proceed to vote. Justice members, those who are in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. You may put down your hands. Those who are not in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. You may put down your hand, Honorable Rodriguez. Those who abstain, please raise your right hand. That concludes the voting.
Madam Chair, I just stepped out, but I'm voting in favor of the motion as
The
well.
Honorable Jokno is registering his vote in favor of the motion. Result, please. With 30 votes in the affirmative, 1 vote in the negative, and 0 abstention, the motion is granted. The committee is directed to issue the necessary subpoena duces tecum and subpoena ad testificandum to Attorney Cynthia Viñas Pantonal, as well as the production of the original affidavit of Mr. Madriaga, executed on November 29, 2025. So ruled. The Honorable Dilima.
Madam Chair, my fourth motion is also for the production of subpoena duces tecum and subpoena ad testificandum to the custodian of the Archives Division of the House of Representatives to produce, identify, and authenticate transcripts, video recordings, and related records of prior hearings of the House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability on the Office of the Vice Presidents and Department of Education's disposition of their confidential funds for 2022 and 2023. I so move, Madam Chair.
There is a pending motion for the issuance of subpoena duces tecum and ad testificandum to the Legislative Library Archives Division, House of Representatives, as well as for the production of transcript and video recording of the House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability on September 18, 2024, September 25, 2024, October 17, 2024, November 5, 2024, November 25, 2024, as well as the production of the affidavit of USEC Gloria Mercado and the envelopes labeled Hope, submitted by Undersecretary Mercado. The motion has been seconded by the Honorable Zamora. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is hereby granted. The necessary subpoena duces tecum and ad testificandum in as far as the Legislative Library Archives Division of the House of Representatives is hereby directed to be issued by the committee. The Honorable Dilima.
Madam Chair, the fifth and last motion for today's proceedings for the production of subpoena duces tecum and subpoena ad testificandum to be addressed to a representative from the Philippine Statistics Authority to produce, identify, and authenticate certifications from the civil registry system, such as the database, the PSA Civil Registry System database on the certificate of live birth, certificate of marriage, certificate of death, on several names found in the submissions of the Office of the Vice President and Department of Education, particularly certification dated December 8, 2024, and December 11, 2024. This is to show the recipients of OVPs and DepEd's confidential funds had no birth, marriage, or death records, as well as to identify and authenticate the requested certifications. I so move.
There is a motion for issuance of subpoena ad testificandum to the Philippine Statistics Authority, Carlos P. Garcia, to the Philippine Statistics Authority, or to the representative of the Philippine Statistics Authority, and for subpoena duces tecum with respect to the original copies of the certifications pertaining to PSA verification made from PSA Civil Registry System database on the certificate of live birth, marriage, and death on several names found in the submissions of the OVP and DepEd, particularly the following: certification dated December 8, 2024, and certification dated December 11, 2024. Do I hear a second?
Second.
The same has been seconded. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is granted. The committee is
Chair.
directed to issue the necessary subpoena to the representative of the PSA, as well as for the production of the documents mentioned therein.
Madam Chair, just a manifestation.
The Honorable Marcoleta is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I recall during the previous hearings, maybe 2 or 3 past hearings ago, I raised the issue of procedural due process when I said that ginanap ng Kongreso ang trabaho na di dapat nila ginagawa dahil ito ay trabaho ng COA. And I was referring to the past hearings made by the Quadcom, or if I'm not mistaken, the Committee on Good Governance. And the chair remarked that wala pong kinalaman ang mga past hearings ngayong hearing ng impeachment ni VP Sara. Pero ngayon po ay tila ginagamit natin at humihingi tayo ng dokumento mula sa mga hearings na yon. So ako po ay nagugulumihanan. Kala ko po ba walang kinalaman ang mga past hearings ng Quadcom o ng Committee on Good Government, pero tayo po ay nagbabalik tanaw at kukuha ng mga dokumento mula sa archives ng hearing na yon. May I be clarified, Madam Chair?
This impeachment proceeding pertains to the fitness to hold public office of our Vice President, Sara Zimmerman C. Duterte. That is the reason why manifestations pertaining to the past inquiry of Quadcom and even of the Committee on Good Government was discouraged by the chairperson. Nevertheless, all the manifestations of the Honorable Marcoleta are duly noted by the Committee on Justice. Now we proceed. We have discussed already all the pending matters before the committee, and the chair wishes to reiterate the previously announced schedules for our subsequent hearings. That includes April 14. After this announcement, April 14, April 22, and April 29.
Madam Chair.
The Honorable Tino first, and then the Honorable D.S. Konghon.
Madam Chair, may I make an additional motion for the issuance of a subpoena?
I'd like to make another motion for the
Yes.
issuance of subpoena.
I move that the subpoena be issued to Attorney Michael Wesley Poa in his capacity as the former Chief of Staff of the Vice President and DepEd Secretary from 2022 to 2023. In such capacity, he has very material and relevant information on how the confidential funds in the DepEd were used, and in particular, he had a direct role in the preparation of the accomplishment reports relating to the use of the DepEd's confidential funds, some of which these accomplishment reports have been the subject of the request for subpoena that this committee has approved.
May
So
we
I
hear
so
from
move, Madam
our
Chair.
endorser? Would you like to comment to the motion of the Honorable Tino? he wishes for the issuance of subpoena ad testificandum to Attorney Michael Poa, considering that during that time, he was assuming the position of
Chief of Staff of the DepEd Secretary.
COS
Yes.
of DepEd.
Undersecretary, with the rank of Undersecretary.
Honorable De Lima?
My motion was pertained only to the custodian of those COA audit records, including liquidation reports, disbursement vouchers, certifications, and related submissions from the custodian, the official custodian of the Intelligence and Confidential Funds Audit Office of the Commission on Audit. I won't have any strong objection to that request, since it's related to this item.
All right,
The
so
subject matter of the first motion that I put forth, which was approved by the body.
so the
Thank you.
chair will now act on the motion. The
Madam
committee
Chair.
will now act on the motion. Is that an objection to the motion of the
Definitely.
Honorable Tino?
I object. Are there documents that the Chief of Staff, Attorney Poa, has signed that he would be a witness to identify? May I ask the proponent?
Before we entertain the objection of the Honorable Rodriguez, let me just formalize that there is a motion raised by the Honorable Tino to issue a subpoena ad testificandum to Attorney Michael Poa, considering that he was the Chief of Staff of the Office of the Department of Education during the alleged period of 2022 and 2023. Do I hear a second?
Second.
The
The same has been seconded by the Honorable D.S. Konghon. Now let's hear the objection of the Honorable Rodriguez.
Madam Chair, I could not find nexus borne by evidence or ultimate facts that would now make the Chief of Staff and lawyer of the Vice President to be subpoenaed. In fact, he has entered this appearance as counsel. So I would like to know whether there are documents which he certified or he signed that would make him be able to be invited to be given subpoena to appear in this committee. Otherwise, then we can, just because they are in the office of the Vice President, we'll be giving subpoena to everybody there in the Vice President's office. So I object, and I would like to know about that. Are there documents that would show that he has been part of these confidential funds?
Yes, Madam Chair, in the third complaint endorsed by the Honorable De Lima, there is a section extensively discussing the role that then USEC POA played in preparing the accomplishment reports pertaining to the use of the confidential funds, where and the complaint cites the transcripts of the hearings of the Committee on Good Governance on this matter, where USEC POA admits that he was ordered by the Vice President to submit these accomplishment reports, and also cited in the complaint that the several Army units denied what was claimed in these accomplishment reports.
So we've heard the justification of the Honorable Tino. We've heard as well the justification and the objection of the Honorable Rodriguez. We are a collegial body, so we shall now proceed to vote on the motion
Before
of the
the
Honorable
voting,
Tino.
Madam Chair, I would like the proponent to show to us documents, certifications that had led to the release of these confidential funds. Because we are now already on the hearing, precisely. Are there any? Because if there's none, there is no reason to call him and subpoena a lawyer.
Madam
The
Chair,
Honorable
as I
Tino.
said, I cite the complaint itself, the third complaint.
Allegations lang naman yun, walang documentary.
Specifically, starting from
The process of utilization of the alleged confidential fund is not confined to the documents.
Okay.
There could be actions that contributed to the utilization of confidential fund, which might be covered by the testimony of the possible witnesses.
Okay. Well, starting from paragraph 269 of the third complaint, page 90, there is a reference to former DepEd spokesperson. He was spokesperson as well as chief of staff, Michael Poa, testifying that he received envelopes directly from Vice President Sara herself. So this has to do with the allegation on bribery. And further, and there are other sections as well pertaining to the use of the confidential funds, Madam Chair. If Congressman Rodriguez would want, we can provide, given enough time, Madam Chair.
Oh, Madam Chair, we are now voting, so we should be able to get it. If there is. The fact that he's chief of staff and counsel will not, implicate him to be able to have that if there is no document. So I would object to that, Madam Chair.
With the indulgence of these two gentlemen, as to whether or not there's relevance in the presentation of Attorney Michael Coa, will be a question that rests on the judgment of the justice members. We shall now proceed to vote. Those who are in favor of the motion for issuance of subpoena ad testificandum to Attorney Michael Poa, please raise your right hand. You may put down your hands. Those who are not in favor of the motion? Thank you, Honorable Rodriguez. 2, 3. Were you able to count? Those who abstain, please raise your right hand. That concludes the voting. We shall announce the result. With 34 votes in the affirmative, 3 votes in the negative, and 0 abstention. The motion is granted. The committee is directed to issue the necessary subpoena ad testificandum to Attorney Michael Poa. So ruled.
Madam Chair,
The Honorable Jokno.
there's still one more pending incident, I believe, that pertains to the petition that this representation filed with the House, which was referred last Wednesday to the committee. This is a petition under Section 8 of the Rules on Impeachment, which provides that the House may, upon proper petition, provide adequate protection to a complainant or witness if it is shown that the personal safety of the witness is in jeopardy because of participating in the impeachment proceeding. I will no longer reiterate what is contained in my petition, Madam Chair, but if I may just add a few points that I believe are important for the consideration of the committee. Una-una po, para sa kaalaman ng taong bayan, hiniling natin ang proteksyon para kay Ramil Madriaga para makapunta siya rito at magbigay ng kanyang testimonya under oath sa harap ng committee ito. Standard po ito sa sinumang saksi, pero mas mahalaga ito dahil may mga direktang ulat na galing mismo kay Ginoong Madriaga na may panganib sa kanyang buhay. In his own sinumpaang salaysay, sinabi niya, and I quote, "Araw-araw na rin nagsasabi sa akin, delikado na talaga ang buhay mo, seryoso. Ingat Ram, balita ko mataas-taas ang reward money sa iyo, secure mo ang family mo, at iba pa. Sa loob ko ay nakakaramdam ako ng sobrang takot. Ang takot na yon ay hindi lang ho sa sarili ko, kundi pati sa aking pamilya. Napaparanoid na rin po ako kasi posible rin ito mangyari, nalasunin ako. Halos hindi na ako mapakali, kuminsan at hindi ko maiwasan magduda na rin sa mga fellow PDLs at kahit po mismo sa mga jail officers dahil sa pagsiwalat ko ng issue kay VP SARA Duterte. Madam Chair, these threats have already escalated. According to his affidavit, on March 3, 2026, a detainee with a pending homicide case attempted to forcibly drag Mr. Madriaga into a confined bodega area within the jail. According to Mr. Madriaga, and I quote, "Ayon sa mga naririnig ko sa loob ng kulungan, ang bodegang ito ay sinasabing pinagawa ni dating Congressman Atty. Teves. Isa sa mga impormasyon na nakuha ko ay si Kong Atty. Teves ang gusto magpatumba sa akin," end quotation. Kinumpirma naman po ni DILG Secretary John Vic Remulla na binisita ni Vice Presidente si dating Congressman Teves sa kulungan noong October 19, 2025. Base ito sa ulat ng Inquirer na mismo ang Vice President ang nag-attach sa kanyang perjury complaint laban kay Ginoong Madriaga. Ito ay matatagpuan mismo sa Annex V sa complaint affidavit na minarkahang Annex 5 sa Consolidated Verified Answer ad cautelam ni Vice President Sara Duterte. Just to be clear, this is not intended to accuse anyone. I'm merely raising a concern in our quest to find the truth. If we allow a witness to be intimidated, hurt, or God forbid, killed, then we fail in our constitutional mandate. In terms of what kind of adequate protection I believe would be necessary, I believe that would entail three things, Madam Chair. Number one, that the security for the witness be beefed up, particularly by the National Bureau of Investigation. Second, that his attendance when he is required to appear here be done in a secure manner, that there is sufficient security for his transport here, and also while he is here to testify, that he be put in a secure place. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Would you like to raise the necessary motion with respect to the protective custody of witness Ramil Madriaga?
Yes, Madam Chair. In line with Section 8 of the Rules of the House on Impeachment, I move that adequate protection be provided to Mr. Ramil Madriaga, consisting of three things. Number one, that the security where he is presently detained be beefed up, particularly by the National Bureau of Investigation. Number two, that his attendance, when required by the committee, be secured as well, so that his safety will be, so that his life will not be put in danger. And number three, that while he is testifying before this committee, that again proper safeguards be put in place to ensure his that his life will not be endangered. I so move, Madam Chair.
So for
Second.
clarification, the Honorable Jokno, you are requesting, in line with protective custody, is to augment the current security with the NBI security.
Yes, Madam Chair.
You are also requested for sufficient security during his transport to the hearing of the Justice Committee.
And while
you
he
also
is
requested for a secured and safe place for his confinement
While he is testifying. Yes.
while he
Madam
is testifying before the Justice Committee. So we've heard the details of the protective custody which are being requested by the Honorable Jokno by way of his motion. There is a motion to formalize the same. There's a motion for protective custody of witness Ramil Madriaga, consisting of augmented security by the NBI, security during transport to hearings of the Justice Committee, and secured place of confinement during the hearing as well of this committee. Do I hear a second?
I second the
Madam Chair.
motion.
The same
Madam
has
Chair.
been seconded.
Madam Chair.
Point of,
May we know the pleasure of the Honorable Rodriguez? Are
Madam
you-
Chair, I would like to know whether, directly, whether the motion would transfer custody of Mr. Badriaga to the House of Representatives premises.
May we be clarified on that, the Honorable Jokno?
I did not include that in my motion, Madam Chair.
I understand that the motion is only to make sure that he is in a secured place of confinement.
Yes. Madam Chair, it has already been stated that the Honorable Director of NBI has already assigned personnel to watch 24 hours. Mr. Madriaga in Camp Bagondiwa. In fact, the jail superintendent has already stated that Madriaga has been transferred to a solitary cell so that there'll be no other people there that will endanger his life. And so, Madam Chair, with the presumption, Madam Chair, of regularity of functions and that our witnesses will be fully protected, there's no need for this motion. Secondly, Madam Chair, Ramil Madriaga is a polluted source. He is facing kidnapping with murder charges. In 2021, one member of the anti-kidnapping gang was killed. The PNP member of the anti-kidnapping gang. And then they were arrested in 2022, 2023. That's why he is in jail. And now we're going to give credence to a polluted
Chair.
affidavit.
Point
Madam
of
Chair,
order.
no,
There
Madam
is a
Chair.
point of order,
Let us clarify,
Honorable
we're trying to
Rodriguez.
protect somebody who is a polluted source. In fact, in
Madam
the
Chair.
cases of the
Honorable
Supreme Court,
Rodriguez, there's a point of order.
thank you, Madam Chair.
Let's hear the point of
Premature.
order. The Honorable De
Madam
Lima is
Chair, I
recognized.
submit that it's clearly premature for anyone to raise an issue of credibility on the part of the intended witness. He's not yet testifying. He will testify, and therefore, issues of credibility can be raised in the questioning, in the clarificatory questioning. Mr. Madriaga can be asked about those things during the hearing, the proper stage of the hearing, but not at this point. So it's out of order. Any such statement relating to the issue of credibility, statements like a polluted source, that is not yet proper at this stage of the proceedings.
Would you
Madam
like to
Chair.
raise a motion concerning the manifestations of the Honorable Rodriguez with respect to the credibility of Ramil Madriaga?
I move that that particular part of the manifestation of the Honorable Congressman Rufus Rodriguez with respect to Mr. Madriaga being allegedly a polluted source and the related statements with respect to the issue of his credibility be stricken off the records.
Is there any second?
Second, Madam
The
Chair.
same has
Madam
been
Chair.
seconded. Is there any
I
objection?
will, yes, of course, Madam Chair, because we are
Two
trying to...
motions are pending now.
Yes.
One is the motion for the issuance of motion for protective custody of Ramil Madriaga, raised by the Honorable Chel Jokno, and second is the motion to strike off from the record the manifestation concerning the credibility of Ramil Madriaga. The same has been seconded as well.
This representation is not out of order. We are discussing about giving a bundle of rights, 3. All of this to be able to give that advantage, that perceived, safety issues which are not. That's why me stating that to give this bundle of rights, to give this protection, to all of this custody and so forth in a safe place, should not be given to a polluted source. That is the point that I have. And therefore, it is not out of order. We are discussing, we are objecting to this particular motion. And that is the reason why, these are the reasons why I say that we have to know this person whom we are giving all of these extra advantages and extra attention and care which he does not deserve.
Madam Chair,
The Honorable De Lima.
Mr. Madriaga is listed as one of the witnesses for the complainants. And that's why I asked for the issuance of subpoena juris tecum. And it's very clear, under Section 8 of the Rules of Procedure in Impeachment Proceedings, protection to complainants or witnesses. The House may, upon proper petition, provide adequate protection to a complainant or witness if it is shown that the personal safety of the complainant or witness is in jeopardy because of participating in the impeachment proceedings. And we have heard the manifestation and the explanation of the Honorable Chel Jokno about the alleged threat to his safety. And therefore, it is very much in order that we tackle the issue of grant of protection in the mode that was described and asked or sought for by Congressman Chel Jokno, and the motion has been duly seconded. Thank you.
We've heard amply the argument of both the Honorable Rodriguez and the Honorable De Lima. For the guidance of the justice members, our parliamentary status is there's a pending motion by Congressman Chel Jokno for protective custody of witness Ramil Madriaga. The same has been seconded. The same is objected to by the Honorable Rodriguez. There's likewise a pending motion by the Honorable Laila De Lima to strike out from the record the manifestation of the Honorable Rodriguez pertaining to the credibility of witness Ramil Madriaga. The same has been seconded as well, and the same was objected to as well by the Honorable Rodriguez. We shall now proceed to divide the House, starting with the first motion. That is the motion of the Honorable Chel Jokno. Again, for the guidance of the members, the motion is for the protective custody of Ramil Madriaga. Those who are in favor of the motion, please raise your right
Madam Chair,
hand.
may I just clarify
Yes, please.
that my motion requests, I am moving specifically for three things. Number
Yes.
one, that we make sure that there is additional security provided to Mr. Madriaga
You said from the NBI.
in his present place of detention by the NBI. Second, that both in the transport when he is required to come here to testify and while he is testifying, again, that adequate security be provided to him.
All right? So those who are in favor of the motion for protective custody of witness Ramil Madriaga, please raise your right hand. You may put down your hands. Those who are not in favor, please raise your right hand. Honorable Tino. Thank you, Honorable Rodriguez. Those who abstain, please raise your right hand. That concludes the voting. We shall announce the result. With 35 votes in the affirmative and 1 vote in the negative, with 0 abstention, the motion is granted. The Secretariat is requested to closely coordinate with the Office of the Sergeant at Arms and/or Legislative Security Bureau for the protection of Ramil Madriaga. As courtesy by the committee, please also notify the BJMP as well as the respective regional trial court which ordered his detention. So ruled. Indeed, all the pending matters were already addressed by the committee. The chair believes that we should...
Madam Chair.
The chair stands corrected. There's another pending motion from the Honorable De Lima. May we request the Honorable De Lima to restate the motion?
Yes, Madam Chair. I move that the portion of the statement or manifestation of the Honorable Rufus Rodriguez attacking the credibility of the intended witness, Ramil Madriaga, the issue of his credibility, those allegations about being a polluted source, Ramil Madriaga being a polluted source, be stricken off from the records.
There is a motion to strike out from the record the manifestation of the Honorable Rodriguez with respect to the credibility of witness Ramil Madriaga. Do I hear a second? The same has been seconded. Is there any objection? There is an objection. Let's proceed to divide the House. Those who are in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. You may put down your hands. Those who are not in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you, Honorable Rodriguez. Those who abstain, please raise your right hand. That concludes our voting. We shall announce the result. With 34 in the affirmative, 1 in the negative, and 0 abstention. The motion is granted. The committee secretariat is directed to strike out from the record all the manifestations of the Honorable Rodriguez pertaining to the credibility of witness Ramil Madriaga. So ruled.
Madam Chair.
We have concluded all the pending matters before the committee, and we shall now proceed to the determination of
Madam Chair.
the Honorable Ridon.
I wanted to return again to the matter of SALN and unexplained wealth. I understand that Congressman Chu had already moved for the subpoena of the SALNs of the Vice President, and I will also be moving for the following documents and for the committee to issue subpoena duces tecum and ad testificandum on the following. A representative from the Bureau of Internal Revenue to bring the following: tax compliance and reported income of Vice President Sara Duterte, her spouse, Attorney Manasseh Carpio, and various business entities in which they hold interest. Original or certified true copies of the annual income tax returns and other relevant documents pertinent thereto, such as VAT payments of Vice President Sara Duterte, her spouse Manasseh Carpio, for the years 2007 to 2025, and the following entities for the periods specified: Metro City Chow Foods Corp., formerly City Hall King Chow Foods Corp., for the years 2007 onwards; Gen Corp Industries Inc., formerly Times Square B Foods Corp., and Great Jolly Times Food, for the years 2021 onwards; Carpio Lawyers, formerly Carpio Duterte, for the years 2007 onwards; 888 Bistro, for the years 2021 onwards; Kale 88 Foods Corp., for the years 2021 onwards; Madaya Fisheries Corp., for the years 2021 onwards; Mati City Ice Plant and Cold Storage Inc., for the years 2023 onwards; Amianan Shores Inc., for the years 2023 onwards; Geometry Security and Investigation Agency Inc., for the years 2023 onwards; and Cable Tow 88 Shipping and Marine Services Inc., for the years 2024 onwards. So moved, Madam Chair.
There is a motion for the issuance of subpoena ad testificandum to the BIR representative and for subpoena duces tecum to the aforementioned documents by the Honorable Ridon. Do I hear a second? Any second to the motion of the Honorable Ridon?
Second.
The same has been seconded by the Honorable Dolima. Is there any objection? The Honorable Rodriguez is registering his objection. If you have no other manifestation, we shall proceed to vote. Those who are in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. You may put down your hands. Those who are not in favor of the motion, kindly raise your right hand. Thank you, Honorable Rodriguez. Those who Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Keith. Those who abstain, please raise your right hand. That concludes our voting. We shall announce the result of voting on this motion. With 34 votes in the affirmative, 2 in the negative, and 0 abstention. The motion is granted. The chair directs the committee secretariat to issue the necessary subpoena ad testificandum to the BIR representative and subpoena duces tecum with respect to the ITR of VP SARA Duterte, her spouse Manasseh Carpio, for the year 2007 to 2025, including the entities for the same period as mentioned by the Honorable Ridon. So ruled. Honorable Ridon.
Madam Chair, I have one more motion relating again to SALN and unexplained wealth. I move that a subpoena duces tecum and ad testificandum be issued to the following: a representative from the Securities and Exchange Commission, and to bring certified true copies of the general information sheet and audited financial statements of the following entities: Metro City Chow Foods Corp., formerly City Hall King Chow Foods Corp., for the years 2007 onwards; GenCorp Industries Inc., formerly Times Square B Foods Corp. And Great Jolly Times Food, for the years 2021 onwards; Carpio Lawyers, formerly Carpio Duterte, for the years 2007 onwards; 888 Bistro, for the years 2021 onwards; Kale 88 Foods Corp., for the years 2021 onwards; Madayo Fisheries Corp., for the years 2021 onwards; Mati City Ice Plant and Cold Storage Inc., for the years 2023 onwards; Amian Shores Inc., for the years 2023 onwards; Geometry Security and Investigation Agency Inc., for the years 2023 onwards; and Cable Tow 88 Shipping and Marine Services Inc., for the years 2024 onwards. So moved, Madam Chair.
There is a motion for issuance of subpoena ad testificandum to the representative of Securities and Exchange Commission, as well as of subpoena duces tecum with respect to the general information sheet and annual financial statements of the business establishments mentioned already by the Honorable Ridon. Do I hear a second? The same has been seconded. Is there any objection?
Madam Chair, objection. And
You're recognized,
the
Honorable
grounds for
Rodriguez.
objection. May I know first why these companies registered with the SEC will be subpoenas in its record? Is there a nexus between this to the allegations in the complaint, third and fourth complaint? May we know the relevance of these corporations to the present impeachment case against the Vice President?
The proponent first, Honorable Ridon, followed by the Honorable Keith Flores.
Mahalaga po yung pagpapaliwanag mula sa una, sa mga kinita po ng mag-asawang Duterte Carpio from their own personal income, which will be reflected from the annual income tax returns. Pangalawa, mula din po doon sa mga corporate documents kung saan po sila kasali, sapagkat doon po natin makikita kung yung pong mga other lawful income para maipakita na ang lahat po ng kanyang kinita over the course of 17 years from 2007 ay mga lehitimo pong kita mula sa sahod at mula po sa kinita mula sa propesyon at mula po sa mga negosyo. So, meron pong clear relevancy. Ito pong mga SEC documents po na ito dahil dito natin makikita kung kumita ba o hindi ito pong mga kumpanya na ito, sapagkat kung kumita po ito, maipapaliwanag ng atin pong pangalawang Pangulo at ng kanya pong mister na talaga po nga kumita ng tama over the course of 17 years from other lawful income katulad ng propesyon at iba pang mga negosyo ang kanila pong pagsasama. So dito po maipapakita ng ating pong pangalawang Pangulo na hindi po unexplained wealth. Ito po nga kanyang pagkakaroon ng 88 million na net worth in 2024 kumpara po sa kanya po nga kinita na cumulatively sahod from 2007 to 2024 na more or less mga 30 million to 40 million pesos lamang po, Madam Chair.
The Honorable Flores.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I'm joining the objection of Congressman Rufus Rodriguez only on the following grounds, Madam Chair, that the request being made by Congressman Redon covers periods when the respondent was not yet the Vice President, Madam Chair. I'm going back to the decision of the Supreme Court when it said that we can only file impeachment complaints against an impeachable officer for things done during the incumbency or while she is holding the impeachable office. So, by requesting documents or data or figures that would include the time when she was just Vice President or Vice Mayor, I think, in 2007, or holding other positions that are not yet or may be considered impeachable, that's where my objection is, Madam Chair.
Honorable Redon, would you like to comment to that?
Tama naman po yun, pero what we would want to be able to see is a complete financial picture of the Vice President from the time that she commenced the public office in 2007 as a Vice Mayor up until today. That would be a proper objection with due respect if we had ended our request previous to 2022. But to be clear, I think a big chunk of all of these businesses' requests will most definitely cover up until today, Madam Chair. And more particularly, there are specific firms here which basically cover the term of the Vice President already. Geometry Security, Amianan Shores, Cable Tow are some examples. But to be clear, all of these are firms that had been listed in the 2024 SALN, which is why I think the nexus between the documents of the SALN and the corporate records is established as we speak, Madam Chair.
Would you like to make additional manifestation?
May I secure from Congressman Redon a statement of ultimate facts in the third and fourth complaint, which mentions these corporations? Are there any? None.
There is none.
None. Second, are there annexes that would show in the third and fourth complaint that would, mention and that will pertain to why you're going to ask for subpoena ducis tecum to the SEC and for the records there? Are there annexes in the complaint?
There is none.
Madam Chair, clearly this will be the biggest fishing fleet expedition that we are doing. Because it was, we only deal with ultimate facts. In fact, we are trying here to determine whether there is violation of the 6 grounds of the Constitution as stated in the 2 complaints. And so therefore, how can we have that, Madam Chair? So that's the first one. Secondly, did I hear from you that you want records from a law office? I heard something because this is new to us. This is a surprise to us, all of us here, that they are now a subpoena for entities that are not included in the complaint. So are you saying there's something about a law office?
To be clear, these are in the SALN of the Vice President for 2023 and 2024. So I think there is nothing that prevents this committee from basically issuing subpoenas on documents that are actually public documents, Madam Chair.
No, I'm asking specifically. There was a statement. You're asking for subpoena for a law office.
Yes, because our assumption is that this is an incorporated law office because it was stated as one of the business interests of the Vice President in her SALN.
Aware of the privilege communication between lawyers and client? This will exactly violate that provision of privilege. You cannot subpoena law firms for representing a person either accused or in impeachment cases. How can we subpoena a law firm for acting as a lawyer for the vice president? Can you give us a reason why we should subpoena law firms under the rules of court and under the Code of Professional Responsibility? We cannot subpoena records of a law firm.
Sure, court records or communications between clients and the lawyers are absolutely privileged communications. But if this particular law firm is an incorporated entity within the Securities and Exchange Commission and had been submitting annual audited financial statements year after year and general information sheets, I don't think we are precluded as a committee, as an impeachment proceeding, from requesting these particular documents. We are not talking about conversations between the clients of Duterte Carpio or Carpio lawyers. We are talking about their financial output year on year. And to be clear, this is precisely the justification of supporters of the Vice President as to why her net worth, had ballooned to 88 million as against a computed cumulative salary of 30 to 40 million pesos. So I don't think there is reason to, in fact, object to getting all of these financial documents, whether from a corporation or whether from a law firm that is supposedly registered in the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Madam Chair,
May I call the Honorable Jokno first?
perhaps it would be more prudent if we could have the motion of Representative Ridon in writing so that we can consider all the angles and the aspects to that request. I think that we would need to tread carefully when it comes to these matters, especially given the points raised by Representative Rodriguez.
Motion, hearing suspended.